When we think of people with high vibrations, it's common to imagine enlightened beings who radiate positivity and inspiration to everyone around them. But what if we look beyond that first impression? What happens when we begin to uncover the deeper layers of this light? What if this light, instead of just illuminating, also brings to the surface shadows we prefer to keep hidden, both within ourselves and in the environments we frequent? These elevated souls not only inspire, but have a profound and often unexpected impact on the world around them. They accelerate karmic processes, reflect hidden truths, and exert such a powerful influence that it challenges our very perception of ourselves and reality. The question is, are we truly ready to face the truths that this light may reveal and to explore the transformative impact these souls can have on our lives? The concept of karma, often simplified as a mere idea of cause and effect, conceals a depth and complexity that few fully grasp. When we are in the presence of a highly vibrational person, karma becomes almost tangible, operating with a speed and intensity that defies our linear understanding of time and justice. These souls function as cosmic catalysts, accelerating the return of our actions in such a clear way that it becomes impossible to ignore. Imagine living your life as a calm and predictable river, where the consequences of your actions flow slowly, almost imperceptibly. Now, place a high-vibration person into this scenario. Suddenly, this tranquil river transforms into a powerful current, where every action, every thought, reverberates almost instantaneously. For someone accustomed to the slow pace of everyday life, this can be both shocking and revealing. The universe seems to respond more directly, more relentlessly, as if the presence of this person accelerates the cosmic mechanisms of cause and effect. These souls do not consciously choose to accelerate karma. It is simply a natural consequence of who they are. Their high vibrational frequency causes the energies around them to intensify, including both positive and negative intentions. For someone who acts with kindness, being near such a person can mean an acceleration of blessings and rewards. But for those harboring negative intentions, the universe's response can be so swift and intense that it becomes a true life lesson. This dynamic is not just a manifestation of cosmic justice, but also an opportunity for everyone around these souls to reassess their own intentions and behaviors. Being close to a high vibration person is like living in an energy field where authenticity and integrity are mandatory, not by imposition, but by the very nature of the environment created by this presence. The time to act rightly is now, and karmic return presents itself with an urgency rarely seen in everyday life. This acceleration also challenges us to reflect on the nature of time and karma. Is time really linear, or does it respond to the quality of the energy we are emitting? And what does this quick response from the universe teach us about the true nature of intentions? In the presence of a high vibration person, these questions stop being philosophical and become living experiences, forcing us to reconsider our understanding of the world. For those seeking spiritual growth, the presence of a high vibration person is a blessing, as it puts us in direct contact with universal laws in a way that transcends theory and becomes practice. It's not just about living according to principles of goodness, but about understanding that the universe is always responding, and this response can be much faster and more evident than we imagine. Ultimately, being close to these souls teaches us that karma is not just a distant consequence, but a living, active force that shapes our lives at every moment. The concept of energy vampirism, though often met with skepticism, is a tangible reality for those sensitive to the energies around them. We've all encountered people who, consciously or unconsciously, seem to feed off our vitality, leaving us drained after every interaction. However, something profoundly interesting happens when such individuals attempt to siphon energy from a highly vibrational soul. Instead of becoming stronger, they end up weakened. High vibration individuals possess an uninterrupted connection to a universal energy source that constantly nourishes them. This connection is so deep and strong that it doesn't rely on interactions with others to be sustained. On the contrary, these souls are like beacons, receiving directly from the cosmos, continuously radiating light and energy. When someone tries to feed off this energy, it's akin to trying to capture sunlight. Not only do they fail, but they also end up exhausted, as the intensity of this light exposes their own deficiencies. This phenomenon is not only fascinating from an energetic perspective, but also prompts us to reflect on the nature of human energy and its source. Where does our energy truly come from? And why do some seem to have an inexhaustible supply, while others are constantly seeking to recharge from others? The answer may lie in the quality of our connection with the universe and with ourselves. High vibration people demonstrate, through their own experience, that when we are truly aligned with our purpose and with universal forces, our energy becomes unshakable and infinite. Beyond their own immunity, these individuals have the power to transform the environments they inhabit. Places that were once heavy, filled with tension and negativity, begin to change simply by the presence of these souls. It's as if the high vibrational frequency they emit not only protects them but also purifies the space around them. This process of energetic transmutation is natural and automatic, requiring no conscious effort, which only amplifies the impressive impact these souls can have on their surroundings. And what can we learn by observing this energetic immunity? First, that true protection doesn't come from external barriers, but from a deep internal connection with our essence and with the universe. When we are aligned with this infinite energy source, we become immune to external influences, whether they are energy vampires or the everyday challenges of life. This immunity also allows us to act as agents of change, elevating the energy of places and people around us, without losing our own strength in the process. For those who frequently feel drained by energy vampires, spending time with a high vibration person is a true life lesson. By observing how these souls handle negative influences, we can learn to strengthen ourselves, to protect our own energy, and to transmute any negativity we encounter into something positive and empowering. In the end, this energetic immunity is not just a defense, but a skill that we can all develop by learning to connect more deeply with the infinite energy source that is always available to us. Being in the presence of someone who seems to see directly through you can be both an unsettling and transformative experience. High vibration individuals possess a unique ability to act as mirrors, reflecting back not only what is visible, but also what lies hidden in the depths of our psyche. They don't need to say a word. Their mere presence is enough to unveil the deepest layers of our personality, revealing both our virtues and our shadows. The experience of being in front of these individuals can be likened to looking into a mirror that doesn't distort the image, but reveals it with startling clarity. The masks we wear to protect ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves to justify our behaviors, everything begins to unravel. Suddenly, we find ourselves forced to confront the truth of who we really are, without the filters we usually apply to protect ourselves from criticism, judgment, or even self-rejection. This process of revelation can be deeply uncomfortable. Seeing our own shadows, those parts of ourselves that we prefer to ignore or repress, can be painful and even frightening. However, it is precisely this discomfort that drives us to grow. By facing our weaknesses, insecurities, and fears, we have the opportunity to transform them, to integrate them into our journey of self-discovery and healing. In the end, this confrontation becomes one of the most enriching experiences we can live. Resistance to this revelation is natural. Our first reaction is often defensive, trying to shield ourselves from the pain that comes with the exposure of our shadows. We might feel anger, shame, or even fear in the face of the clarity with which these souls reflect our truth. But this resistance is actually a sign that there is something within us that needs to be addressed and healed. The presence of these individuals offers us the perfect opportunity for this, even if it initially seems difficult to accept. Beyond revealing our shadows, these people also reflect our virtues and potential. They show us that just as we have parts of ourselves that need healing, we also possess an inner light that we often neglect or underestimate. The mirror these souls offer is therefore complete. It reveals both what needs to be transformed and what needs to be strengthened and cultivated. This ability to act as mirrors makes these individuals involuntary agents of change. They don't need to point out our flaws or tell us what we should improve. Their mere presence forces us to see these things for ourselves. This can create tensions in relationships where truth is avoided or repressed, but it can also open the door to more honest and authentic dialogues. By accepting the reflection these souls offer us, we can begin a process of self-awareness that leads to true transformation. The question we must ask ourselves is, are we ready to see what this mirror reflects? Are we willing to face our shadows and embrace the light that also resides within us? By answering these questions sincerely, we open the doors to deep and lasting growth, bringing us ever closer to our true essence. At some point, we've all disguised a truth, or told a lie to avoid conflict, or protect someone's feelings. But what happens when we are in the presence of someone who seems to perceive the truth in every word we say? High-vibration individuals possess such a heightened sensitivity that they can detect any dissonance between what is said and what is felt. It's as if they are equipped with a natural lie detector, one that resonates with authenticity and exposes any attempt at deception. This ability isn't something these individuals do intentionally. It's simply part of who they are. Their elevated frequency vibrates in harmony with truth, making it nearly impossible to maintain a lie or hide the truth in their presence. And this can be unsettling. Imagine standing before someone who can perceive your deepest intentions, even those you haven't verbalized. This can create immediate discomfort, especially for those accustomed to manipulating or distorting facts for their own benefit. The impact of this ability extends far beyond personal interactions. In environments where truth is often compromised, such as workplaces where politics and appearances often overshadow authenticity, the presence of a high-vibration individual can completely shift the dynamic. These souls raise the standard of communication, encouraging an atmosphere of honesty and integrity simply by being present. The pure energy they emit acts as a catalyst, revealing what is hidden and bringing the truth to light. This capacity to detect falsehood also invites us to reflect on the nature of truth and lies. Why do we lie? What are we really trying to protect when we disguise the truth? And what happens when the truth is finally revealed? These are profound questions that naturally arise in the presence of someone who resonates with truth. The answers to these questions can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the dynamics within our relationships. However, this ability to expose the truth can bring challenges. In a world where manipulation is a common tool, being someone who instinctively reveals what is hidden can lead to conflicts. People may feel threatened by this involuntary transparency and might, in some cases, attempt to distance or discredit the high-vibration individual. But what they often forget is that truth, once revealed, has a power of its own. And these souls, even without seeking confrontation, inevitably bring this truth to light, even in those delicate situations. For those who wish to cultivate this same integrity in their own lives, being in the presence of such individuals can be inspiring. They remind us of the value of authenticity and encourage us to live according to our deepest values. By doing so, they create an environment where honesty not only thrives but becomes the foundation of all interactions. This environment of transparency can be challenging, but it is also extremely liberating. When everyone is vibrating at the same frequency of authenticity, there is no longer a need for masks or falsehoods. We can be who we truly are, with all our imperfections and truths, and this creates a solid foundation for deeper, more meaningful relationships. Throughout this process, the question that emerges is, are we ready to live with the same transparency and integrity that these individuals inspire in us? Can we embrace the truth even when it exposes our vulnerabilities? The answer to these questions brings us closer, not only to the truth of others, but more importantly, to our own inner truth. True influence isn't about control or deliberate manipulation. It's a natural force that emanates from who we are. When we talk about high-vibration individuals, their ability to influence others goes far beyond the conventional. They don't seek power or authority. Rather, their authentic and consistent presence is what moves and transforms the dynamics around them. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to elevate an entire environment just by being there? The answer lies in the quality of the energy they radiate. The influence of these souls doesn't reside in persuasive words or well-crafted strategies, but in the purity of their intentions and the congruence between who they are and what they do. This congruence creates an energy field that resonates with those around them, often leading others to align with these higher frequencies. It's as if, by being near a highly vibrational person, others are naturally inspired to become better versions of themselves, not by force but by an internal desire for growth. In professional contexts, these individuals often become leaders, not because they seek positions of power, but because others naturally see them as role models. Their ideas and approaches are adopted not out of pressure, but because they emanate a clarity and wisdom that is hard to ignore. This influence, which could be called positive manipulation, doesn't force but inspires, creating an environment where the best in people is encouraged to emerge. It's common for entire teams to become more cohesive and productive simply due to the presence of one of these souls, who, without conscious effort, elevates morale and the quality of interactions. This type of influence also manifests in social circles. A high-vibration person can, unintentionally, destabilize relationships based on superficiality or dishonesty. Their presence can trigger deep changes, exposing what needs to be transformed and encouraging more authentic dialogues. At the same time, this influence can cause resistance, especially among those who feel threatened by the transparency and integrity of these souls. Those who have something to hide or who are comfortable in their comfort zones often feel challenged by this presence and may try to resist the change it brings. Despite resistance, these souls remain unwavering. They understand that their influence doesn't depend on universal acceptance, but on the truth they carry. And it is this truth, lived with such integrity, that ends up transforming environments and the people around them. They don't need to convince anyone of anything. Their life is the example, and that is more powerful than any word or speech. This influence is a force that invites evolution. Everyone around a high-vibration person feels this energy, often without knowing why. They are led to reflect, change, or grow. It's not manipulation in the traditional sense, but a manipulation that awakens the best in each person, even when that means confronting parts of ourselves we'd rather avoid. This ability to inspire without imposing is what makes the influence of these souls so powerful and enduring. The question then arises, are we open to being influenced in this way? Can we accept the change these people bring, even if it challenges us to let go of old habits and beliefs? This openness to transformation is what allows us to grow and align with the higher frequencies these souls radiate. If we are willing to follow this path, we will discover that the positive influence of these individuals not only transforms our environment, but also changes us from the inside out. Protecting one's energy is essential, especially for those who vibrate at higher frequencies. When a high-vibration individual senses that a connection, whether personal or professional, is draining their energy or creating imbalance, they do not hesitate to cut those ties. This may seem drastic, but these souls understand that maintaining their inner peace and continuing their spiritual growth depends on a healthy and balanced environment. Cutting ties is not an impulsive decision. These individuals deeply reflect on their connections and carefully assess whether they still align with their purpose. They understand that holding on to a connection that no longer resonates with their energy can hinder their progress and even destabilize their internal balance. When they realize that a relationship or environment no longer serves their growth, they make the decision to distance themselves with clarity and firmness, without regret. This withdrawal can be gradual or immediate, depending on the situation. In some cases, it's a matter of gradually reducing contact until the connection naturally dissolves. In others, a swift and definitive break may be necessary, where the high-vibration person withdraws completely, making it clear that the bond no longer serves their journey. While this decision may seem abrupt to others, for the high-vibration individual, it is an act of self-preservation and mutual respect. They understand that by releasing a connection that no longer serves them, They are allowing both parties to grow in ways that might not have been possible together. Those who have experienced the distancing of such a person know how impactful this decision can be, especially for those who depended on the connection. It's common for those left behind to feel a mix of surprise, pain, and eventually understanding. After all, these elevated souls usually leave a legacy of growth and learning, even after they have distanced themselves. They do not cut ties out of malice or disdain, but out of a deep need to keep their energy aligned and pure. But why do these individuals make such drastic decisions? They understand that their energy is their most precious asset, and allowing it to be drained or corrupted by toxic relationships compromises not only their well-being, but also their ability to continue growing spiritually. By cutting ties, they are in fact protecting their own energetic integrity and creating space for new, more aligned connections to emerge. This ability to make difficult decisions is also linked to these individuals' strong sense of self-respect. They are not afraid to say no, or to step away when necessary, because they know that true compassion begins with compassion for oneself. By protecting their energy, they ensure that they can continue to be the positive and transformative force they are, without being undermined by negative influences. To outsiders, these actions may seem harsh or insensitive, but in reality, cutting ties is an act of love, both for oneself and for the other. It's an acknowledgement that sometimes the best way to help someone is to allow them to follow their own path, free from a connection that no longer serves either party. And by doing so, the high-vibration individual also frees themselves to move forward and continue their spiritual journey of growth and evolution. Being alongside a high-vibration person teaches us, among other things, the importance of protecting our own energies. By observing how they manage relationships and environments, we can learn to set healthy boundaries, recognize when it's time to step away, and prioritize our own well-being above all. And in doing so, we create space for new opportunities and more meaningful relationships to enter our lives. Being in the presence of a high-vibration person is like being under an intense light that reveals everything, even what we prefer to keep hidden. These souls possess such a keen sensitivity that they often end up exposing our vulnerabilities without even realizing it. But why does this happen? The truth is that these people are so aligned with their own essence that they naturally function as mirrors for those around them. When we see ourselves reflected through them, there is no way to hide our insecurities, fears, or traumas. Everything we've tried to suppress begins to emerge, forcing us to confront our own shadows. This can be uncomfortable, but it is also an incredible opportunity for growth. When we face these parts of ourselves, we have the chance to confront them and eventually heal them. The experience of having our vulnerabilities exposed may leave us disoriented, but it can also be the starting point for profound transformation. In a world where we often try to hide our weaknesses to appear stronger or more capable, the presence of these souls reminds us that true strength comes from fully accepting who we are, including our imperfections. On the other hand, this revelation can be difficult to accept. No one likes having their weaknesses exposed, and the initial reaction might be one of defense, anger, or even withdrawal. However, it's important to remember that this exposure is not an attack. It is actually a gift, an opportunity to clearly see what needs to be worked on within ourselves. These souls offer us an honest reflection, without filters or distortions, showing us who we really are and what still needs transformation. Moreover, this process of revelation isn't just about seeing what's wrong or what needs fixing. It's also an opportunity to recognize and appreciate our virtues, our capacity to grow and evolve. These elevated souls don't judge us for our vulnerabilities. Rather, they encourage us to accept these parts of ourselves as necessary steps on the path to self-knowledge and healing. This ability to illuminate others' shadows makes high-vibration people involuntary agents of change. They don't actively seek to expose others' vulnerabilities, but their presence naturally creates an environment where the truth emerges. And in doing so, they offer everyone around them a chance to become more aware of themselves and their own journeys. This can be a painful process, but it is also an invaluable opportunity for growth. However, the intense light they project isn't easy to handle. It requires us to be willing to see ourselves as we truly are, without the illusions we typically use to protect ourselves. This takes courage, but it is that same courage that will allow us to grow and transform. Those who have the strength to face their own vulnerabilities will find, at the end of this journey, a more authentic and integrated version of themselves. And when we embrace this opportunity, we discover that exposed vulnerabilities aren't weaknesses but gateways to a deeper understanding of ourselves. They show us where we need to work, where we need to grow, and give us the chance to become more authentic versions of who we are. The question is, are we ready to see the truth that these individuals reveal to us? If we are, the path to self-knowledge and healing will be open before us, illuminated by the light of these elevated souls. High-vibration people are much more than sources of inspiration and light. They have the power to accelerate karma, transform environments, reflect our deepest truths, and challenge us to live authentically. Each interaction with them offers a unique opportunity for growth and transformation, but also requires us to be willing to confront our own shadows and vulnerabilities. If you are interested in exploring more about spirituality, I have specially selected some videos full of deep knowledge and fascinating discoveries that you will love. Just click on one of them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of self-discovery and spiritual learning. Your commitment to knowledge is the first step to transforming your reality.